Hey, how's everybody doing? Welcome to Talking Shit with your boy, the Sophisticated Jerk. And today, man, I just wanted to cover the whole Fox Sports workplace misconduct lawsuit. So, yeah, man, they turned Fox Sports into the strip club. Yeah, I was looking at the lawsuit and, some articles that kind of did a summary on, the whole allegations and simplified it. They were saying, like, man, there was what's her name? Joy Taylor was over there, sleeping her way to the top. Skip Bayless over there trying to trick on some females. Talk about he want to give 1.5 million to the hairdressers to sleep with her. Then you got Charlie Dixon, the exec of content. He's over there like sleeping with Joy Taylor, trying to press up on other females, and using his power to put her on shows that she didn't earn or belong on. Since she slept with him. So yeah, it's all kind of fuckery going on over there. There was another element that was like there was a dude that was like pretty much on staff to provide cocaine to guests and stuff, coke. So yeah, it sounded like a mess and stuff. So I'm gonna pull up this one article I found, man. I think they did a good job summarizing all the different things, highlighting the most important things up in the lawsuit. So that way everybody ain't gotta go read the whole thing. I think it's like 42 pages or something. So what's her name? The Newson Faraji, she's the one that filed the allegations, and they said she had dates, journal entries and stuff. So it sounds like her stuff is, if it's 42 pages, yeah, she was thorough, like documenting different incidents that happened and stuff. If everything is verifiable, don't know about that, but typically when people have like solid dates in that type of format, oh yeah, they going back years. They was documenting everything. They was like, look, I'm gonna cash out on these idiots overstepping the boundaries in the workplace. So yeah, like the main people I think that they highlighted in these articles and even in a lawsuit was like Charlie Dixon, of course, Skip Bayless for, like I said, harassing a female on a consistent basis. Charlie Dixon was even harassing her. And then how Joy Taylor, Emmanuel Acho, and other people got pulled into the situation pretty much because they were like either witnesses or, they could kind of validate some of this stuff that's going on. So that's why they spoke on them. So yeah, here's a picture of Joy Taylor right here to the left, Skip Bayless in the middle. Of course, he's well known, and Charlie Dixon, the weird looking cat to the right. So he's the executive, the one that was like putting Joy Taylor, she was sleeping with, and he was the one like kind of putting her in a position of power. And, even Faraji was kind of stating in her lawsuit that he was kind of doing a whole power play thing with other females. And if they didn't comply, like he wouldn't renew their contract. So yeah, let me kind of skim over like I said, the major bullet points that they pointed out, that the stuff that's highlighted and most people are talking about. So of course, the major one is Skip Bayless offers Faraji 1.5 million for sex. So yeah, this Skip, that's crazy. You that much of a trick, 1.5 million? You was that desperate for the coochie? Like you pedestalized whole girl that much? You could have bought half of like South America for 1.5 million. And this is the crazy thing with a lot of dudes, like I say Skip and Charlie Dixon. It's just like when men like that typically were probably terrible with females come into a position of power, they start getting money. It's like they they start getting that ego that they could kind of do whatever they want to with stepping over them boundaries in the workplace. So they start trying to use their status and stuff to, have sexual encounters with females. And that's why I always used to give pushback to a lot of the messaging, hey, just get your money up, and the females would come. And I used to kind of get in a lot of debates with, say, like a red pill ideology and stuff like that. Cause I was like, nah, man, you got to get the woman that invests in you, that really likes you. Because when you just get the money, women will sometimes align with you for the money, but they're there for that. They don't really like you. And when you're on a job, like, man, stick to being professional. Don't step over them boundaries at your job, man. You can't let your ego, because you finally made some bread, get to your head and start having you do stupid decision making, and kind of utilizing that in the wrong format, because it's like it will catch up with you. We're seeing it play out so many times now, all these civil lawsuits that's coming out. So yeah, that's the first one, Skip. And we're gonna circle back to some of them. I'm gonna dive deeper, but I just want to get through all the major bullet points, and then we'll focus in on some of these ones. And I got some videos and stuff that I want to kind of highlight to, make the points. So the second one was Bayless makes racist remarks towards Faraji, accusing her of having sex with Shannon Sharp. So that's why Shannon Sharp got pulled into this. And I saw like he dropped the video quick, like, hey, I got nothing to do with this. I never misstepped. Leave me alone, pretty much. Shannon was like, I don't want that smoke. I'm up out of this. Like, so shout out to Shannon. He sidestepped that shit quick. So the third one, Fox executive Charlie Dixon gives Joy Taylor undisputed as a reward for having sex with him. So yeah, this is where he tried to use his position of power, and since he was hooking up with Joy, allegedly based on the information, he plugged her into undisputed. That's when Shannon Sharp and Skip Bayless, was up in there. Very popular sports show. And I always, like it was funny because me and my friend, we was arguing about this like a long time ago. Well, not arguing, but we are like talking about it where we didn't understand why they would always have the female co-host that didn't really know a ton of sports. So we were like, damn, why they keep doing that format? Do they think like that's the only reason like guys will watch these shows? But it's like nobody really watches is gonna tune into Undisputed because Joy Taylor are pretty chicks up there. People like to debate, when they have Stephen A and stuff, they like the personalities and the fact that people know sports to a certain degree. So I always thought it was a weird format anyways. I was like, I don't understand why they always do this. They would be better off having another person to like mediate that understands sports, maybe a sports player or coach or even a comedian or something. So yeah, I never understood the why they went to that model, but it makes sense. It's like Charlie up there, like, look, we need some bad chicks up here. Like I said, they was like turning this into the club. So he's like, nah, spin around. Let me see your resume. He's like, give me some stallions up here. But yeah, he is going to come back to bite him though. So the next one is Dixon gropes Faraji at a party and tells her to get over it. So I guess like Faraji was kind of bringing the information to Joy because I think they were like friends and had a relationship. But Joy was like, look, I'm over here winning. You gotta get over this shit. Hear no evil, see no evil. That's what Joy Taylor was like. I'm keeping my mouth shut. So the next one, Dixon fires female talent member for refusing to have sex with him, and I think the female, she's labeled as anonymous in the lawsuit, and even when they're breaking it down here, she came in, I guess, was giving Faraji's information because Faraji was the hairdresser. So, typically a lot of people, she's, in that support element where she's helping out a lot of people, built those relationships. So I guess anonymous person was like telling her like kind of what's going down in the environment, and that Dixon oversteps those boundaries with all the females. And, if you kind of don't do what he says, then he'll like discard you. So this is why this whole case is probably the floodgates are gonna open. There's gonna be a bunch of females that are gonna come out, be like, yeah, he did this because she's putting out her lawsuit, and it's, even though they didn't put the names out, they're associating other females that Dixon kind of was overstepping the boundary. So they're probably gonna be filing civil lawsuits coming forward also. So yeah, this is about to get bigger. Yeah, Fox is gonna have to dole out some cash on this. So, all right, the next one is Dixon pays off Taylor's then fiance in exchange for silence about the relationship. So this is where I had to go back and dig in on this because I didn't know Joy Taylor's background. She wasn't that damn important, but she was engaged to former NBA guard Earl Watson following divorce from her first husband, and has her engagement broken off with Watson. Learns of the infidelity. So it seemed like when she was with Earl and they were about to get married, he kind of figured out about the infidelity and what was going on, and that's when he just like cut ties. And I'm gonna kind of circle back to this. This is where Joy Taylor is kind of I say a real bad person on this one, because it's like she didn't even have to go down this route of trying to sleep her way to the top. If she did do this stuff, because it's still allegedly like because Earl Watson, like if you look at his like net worth, very successful guy, where former NBA player, I think he's coaching now, very successful at that. net worth of like 17 million. So it's just she was so ambitious that she had the high status guy, high earning guy was about to marry him and was like, I'm still gonna go this route and try to get this power because I'm that power hungry that I would mess this up. And now it's like blowing up in her face. So it's just like she didn't even have to go that route. Her brother's a Hall of Fame NFL player. So it's like, man, she kind of came from I'll say a prominent background that she didn't even need to go this route. So that's where it's just like, damn, like you was that, fucked up that you still went up there and slept around and sabotage like a good relationship with somebody that had their shit together to like get what? Now everything's blowing up in your face. So yeah, that's what makes it even worse for her. Like when you start digging into the fact, because it's like, man, she had a guy that was like about to get with her, hold her down, but she was like doing the infidelity, all this stuff at the workplace that people are saying. So yeah, that's crazy. Then it's like again, Joy Taylor again uses her sexuality to get on the show. So Raji alleges that Joy Taylor used her sexuality to secure a spot on another show. This time, the former NFL player and current analyst Emmanuel Acho, who was a member of Speak for Yourself. So Emmanuel was like the up and coming guy that was moving up the ranks, former NFL player, didn't have too much of a successful NFL career where he didn't make a lot of money, but he was starting to like blow up on the shows, man, because he was very articulate. So I think Joy Taylor saw that and, kind of latched on to, his movement also. So this is where she was like, they're stating in a lawsuit and, even in this article, it's like, okay, she was with Charlie Dixon. Then she was also messing with Emmanuel Acho, the up and comer. So this is where she's getting that bad rep. Like, damn, she's sleeping her way to the top. She's like, look, I need to get on Speak for Yourself. They about to blow up. Let me align with Emmanuel Acho on this. And the sad thing with Emmanuel Acho in this case, because man, it's all the guys, man, that like I said, man, lack that discipline in the workplace to start messing with females. It's like, man, he didn't get that payout from football, but like now he was like on some prominent shows, making his rounds, kind of coming up, also getting money from speaking engagements and other business ventures outside of football. And now, man, all that is squandered because, like, man, now you're rolled into allegations. So, people naturally are going to start distancing themselves from these individuals and stuff. So it's just crazy. Like, men just keep on putting themselves at this deficit for a female, man. It's like I get it, she's pretty, but like, man, y'all like dudes that got y'all shit together, man. Hunt away from your job, man. I don't know what that vaccination is like, man. People like that proximity, that comfort. It's like, man, I don't play with your money. So yeah, it's like, man, he's about to kind of get, left on a sideline because Fox gonna have to come and clean house. But all right, the next bullet point is Fox employee harasses Faraji, but isn't fired because of his role in supplying cocaine to numerous Fox employees and talent. So yeah, this is where they kind of start getting into the details about the person that was supplying the coke at the job and stuff. And this is all based on what Faraji is providing to the courts and stuff. So, they're gonna start having to do investigations because there's some illegal activity right here. But it just says real quick, it says behind the scenes employee at Fox Sports, Bobby Diaz, both racially and sexually harasses Faraji, but is not held accountable because he supplies cocaine to employees and talent. So they had a drug dealer on staff, hired him in. Like, how do you get a resume for that shit? You know, what job description did they put out there? Like, hey man, we need you to go to the block and get some keys and supply the guests. Like, man, that's some crazy stuff. But that's what I'm saying, man. There's about to be some crazy lawsuits out here, man, with all the workplace fiasco that's going on. So the next bullet point, Faraji targeted due to her ethnicity. So again, some employees were making references and talking about her Faraji's Persian ancestry and stuff. So making comments. So it was like Skip Bayless and a couple other people that she mentions, in I'll say her lawsuit and allegations. So the next one, Dixon's wife kept on Fox payroll to keep her silent about husband's infidelity. So this is where like Skip Bayless was pillow talking pretty much with Faraji because even though he overstepped on boundaries and stuff, I guess he came back and apologized. So let me go ahead and read a little bit of this. So it's like after Bayless offered Faraji an apology for accusing her of having sex with his co-host Shannon Sharp, he allegedly told Faraji that Dixon, the Fox executive, has kept his wife on the company's payroll to keep her silent about his affairs with Joy Taylor and other Fox employees. And then he said, going on to follow on, and she's like breaking down even more, where Mr. Bayless also disclosed that he believed Mr. Dixon kept his wife on Fox's payroll to keep her silent about his affairs with Fox employees. Mr. Bayless asked Miss Faraji out to dinner to continue the conversation, but Miss Faraji declined, stating that she cannot do anything that even gives an inference of a non-work relationship because she wants to keep her job. So she was smart, like, nah, keep feeding me this information though, but I'm not going out with you. She's like, I ain't stepping over them boundaries, but damn it, I'm gonna keep the journal rolling. So she was like, And then the last one that they kind of highlighted, based on the whole lawsuit, the key points was Bayless again tries to coerce Faraji into sex. Then he tells her he loves her. So that's what I'm saying, man. Skip Bayless is the ultimate trick. And simping is him and Dixon, because it's like, man, he shoot, she wouldn't even give him the time of day, but he talk about he love her and shit. And the sad thing about this also was like Skip always be on the show talk about his wife Bernstein and Ernestine, I think her name is. I know I probably butchered it, but you would be thinking like this dude can't even depart from her. How he speaks about her on the show, but here he is doing this, like I said, simp shit on the show behind the scenes and stuff. So yeah, that's why sometimes, man, you just can't believe people. They'll play the public image, but they be the worst ones behind the scenes. But let me go ahead and read a little bit of this. It says on December 21st, 2023. And that's what I'm saying. When people give exact dates, they got some shit on you. So whenever I look at like legal documents and stuff, I'm looking at it. If they got specific dates, they got time, the forum where they were at. So like even earlier, she was like she went to dinner, she went to lunch and met Joy out there, and Joy was with Dixon. It's like, man, that's valid. That's too specific. So you could be like, oh no, they ain't telling the truth. But when they could give specifics about events like that, I'm like, you gotta believe them, because that stuff could be corroborated with like people paid for the meal on their card, or she went over there, paid for her stuff, and showed up, got a like a parking ticket or something like that. Like, see, on this date, I was over at this location. That's what I'm saying, man. They kind of screwed. But again, on December 21, 2023, Mr. Bayless told Miss Faraji that he still loved her and confided that Mr. Dixon was the one who had told him that Miss Faraji was sleeping with Shannon Sharp. And just to continue on with some of this, Mr. Bayless then tried again to have sex with Miss Faraji. Faraji's diary entry for that day states, I had Skip I had said, Skip, I'm only interested in working with you and having a friendship relationship with you and nothing else. He said, you have no idea. You are losing everything. And I don't know what he means by that. And I hope he doesn't take me off the show. So this is what she's like logging into her diary entry. And this is why, like, these dudes, man, I just don't understand why they keep playing with their career. Got to get better at this, where man, you step over them boundaries and stuff, man. Just because you got some power or prestige, man, don't mean that people ain't gonna turn you in. Because I think typically people don't want to lose their job, so they'll hold quiet. But it's like these dudes can't help themselves. They always create kind of a pattern in the workplace, and eventually, all it takes is that one crack. And once that happens, it's like the floodgates open with all the information. All the people like find the strength to come forward. So like if skipping if he's doing this type of stuff, offering 1.5, like man, he done probably did it to somebody else. So like they're gonna come forward, and it seems with Dixon, there's like all kind of anonymous people. So yeah, they definitely about to, kind of start throwing them under the bus. But with Joy Taylor, she kind of has some clips, and we've been breaking her down for some time now about stuff she been saying on her podcast and how she been kind of maneuvering out here. So I'm going to play a couple of them clips, because I mean, this should have been no surprise how she maneuvered. Because as soon as I remember this clip came out, I'll say about 6 months ago, and as soon as I kind of heard her talking on her podcast, I think it's Too Personal or something like that, I was like, oh yeah, this is a chick that would take advantage of a guy with money and she's definitely got that entitlement, like, because she's a pretty chick, but yeah, she you could tell she's all about self and self-centered. So man, you could just hear these things, but it's just funny how we're coming back to it. And I've seen people like pulling out these clips, and it's just like, yep, see, we we know how to spot people. So I mean, it's holding some truth. So let me go ahead and play this for y'all.
Hypotheticals have got us in a chokehold, and we must free ourselves. It's fun to argue about. It's fun to talk about what you would do in this scenario, or would you leave the game if the seats were high, or if a man took you this place on a first date, what you would do. And I'm telling you, like, every interaction that I have with people now, in some way or another, these things come up. Can we just keep it a buck? If they're fine enough, if they're funny enough, or if their financial status is what you want, fine, funny, fucking money, you're throwing all boundaries, standards, all that shit you talked on Instagram about how you would never, and this woman ain't kick because women this and men this, you're moving forward.
See right there, she let you know, like, look, for the right price, the right guy, and all that, I ain't got no goddamn standards. And she literally that lawsuit is pointing that out because it's just like, hey man, like I said earlier, it's like, man, she had Earl Watson, and that had a former NBA player, and I don't even know what her the dude she was about to marry also before she got with Earl Watson. I mean, I'm pretty sure he was successful too. So that's what I'm saying. Like that shit wasn't even enough. So it's like, man, if she ain't sitting there, she can't settle down with guys that got their stuff together. She's still willing to go out there and do all that stuff when she didn't have to, man. That says a lot about her. Cause yeah, that's crazy. But all right, I'm gonna get back to the article, man, because there was one segment I did want to read about like I said, I wanted to highlight the point where the one lady, Faraji, was kind of stating she went out to lunch and saw like Charlie Dixon there with Joy Taylor, and she could kind of tell by the body language that there was some like relation there. So let me go ahead and read it. So here's the section right here, going back to this one where Fox executive Charlie Dixon gives Joy Taylor Undisputed as a reward for having sex with him. So it's before landed her major role as the host and moderator of Undisputed, Faraji alleges that Joy Taylor engaged in a sexual relationship with Charlie Dixon, the Fox executive responsible for content decisions to secure the position. According to the lawsuit, this alleged arrangement helped Taylor secure the job by ultimately contributing to the breakdown of her marriage shortly after tying a knot. In approximately May 2016, Miss Taylor asked Miss Faraji to meet for a drink in Santa Monica. When Miss Faraji arrived, she found Miss Taylor with an older man, Fox Sports Executive Vice President of Content, Mr. Dixon. As Vice Executive President, Mr. Dixon is responsible for overseeing all content and production on FS1. Miss Faraji, however, did not know Mr. Dixon. And this is where she kind of gets descriptive with like kind of what she saw at that like meeting. From their body language, Miss Faraji suspected that the pair were sleeping with each other. And although this concerned Miss Faraji, as she knew Miss Taylor was recently married, Miss Faraji kept her opinions to herself. So yeah, nah, that's what I'm saying. Definitely. And the way she's like logging all this information, it's like, man, you know it. There's some validity to it because it's just like she's given the time, the like year, the month, the locations and stuff. So that's why I'm saying it's easy for her to like go back and get something where if she bought something in that location, she could kind of like, that's why, like I said, validate that she was in that area. So yeah, that's why this stuff is about to get real out here. But all right, there was one more clip that I wanted to play of Joy kind of, highlighting her mindset. So this was the one that it also circled around when she was like, of course, doing her podcast, and she was kind of stating out there like, I could have all your men and stuff like that. So a lot of guys reacted to this. They're like, man, she thinks she all that. And that's why I'm saying a lot of times when females be tapping into that pretty privilege and they're materialistic and they cool with using guys, man, they develop that ego, and That's why I do love a lot of these podcasts, because it's like a lot of times, man, you give people a microphone, they're gonna show you who they are. They're gonna reveal like their how they operate. So at the time, people were like spotting her behaviors and responding to a lot of things she was saying, but we didn't go think like she would have went this extent, this high. So now that all those allegations are coming out, it's like, oh, okay, it makes sense now. Cause yeah, we were spotting her behaviors and how she sounded and reacting appropriate based on what she said. So let me play this real quick.
To the men, to the women that have men, to the women who have friends that have men, I want you to know, I do not want you. I do not want your man. I do not want your friend's man. I can't say that slower and more clearly. Let me explain. If I'm speaking to you, human being, I'm doing just that. We are having a conversation, most likely a very casual conversation that lacks depth. I am not, and I cannot stress this enough, I am not flirting with you. I am not flirting with your man. I am not flirting with your friend's man. I'm not. I promise you, I'm not. This continues to happen to me where I will just be speaking.
See that entitlement, man. She like, shit, I'm not chick. Like, she's like, look, your man got a position of power though. I am gonna holler at him. Like, be an executive role and he could put me in a shit, I'ma holler then. But if he just a regular day-to-day person, she's like, I got no parts in that. But there was one more section I wanted to circle back to in the article. So let me pull that back up. So on this one section, and I know I highlighted some, but there's only a couple parts that I wanted to go a little deeper into. And so the one with Dixon pays off Taylor's then fiance in exchange for silence about the relationship. So Joy Taylor, now newly engaged to former NBA guard Earl Watson. And this was after the first initial, I'll say, where she was married or broke that off. Then she got with I say Earl Watson. So that's what they're kind of mentioning right here. This piece right here where Dixon kind of had to pay for, I guess, their wedding arrangements, because this Earl Watson, I guess he kind of put two and two together, and he was just like, I'm not moving forward with Joy, man. She kind of out here for the streets and shit. So he was like, I ain't paying for this shit. So I guess that's what Dixon stepped in. But let me go ahead and read it. So Joy Taylor, now newly engaged to former NBA guard Earl Watson, following divorce from her first husband, has her engagement broken off after Watson learns of the infidelity. Subsequently, Dixon allegedly pays for the couple's wedding deposits in exchange for Watson's silence. And then it's like, after learning Miss Taylor and Mr. Dixon's sexual relationship, Miss Taylor's then fiance broke off the engagement and threatened to go public with all the information that he knew. On information and belief, Mr. Dixon paid for the wedding deposits in an informal exchange for her fiance's silence. So yeah, Dixon was like charging everything to like Fox, his wrongdoings. He had his wife on a payroll. He's doing all these like fraudulent hiring practices, putting pretty people over there over people that have talented. That's why Fox is going to have to dole out some cash if on a lot of these things, because a lot of people are going to come to the forefront like, oh, okay, she got her lawsuit out there. Yeah, you know what? I'm anonymous, God damn it. So yeah, everybody about to come out here like, yep, I didn't get the role because of this. Joy Taylor did this. And then, like I said, Acho got sucked in, and people were pointing out some of the relationship stuff with Acho. I mean, Emmanuel Acho. So like, let me roll a couple of this clip where he was like bigging up Joy and his social media stuff. But I saw somebody was saying like he took some of the clips down because he's like, oh shit, like he was on some extra, like over the top, Joy's amazing type shit.
Just got done with rehearsal for the new show Speak, and I got to take a moment to shout out my co-host Joy Taylor. A woman, a black woman, daily show, sports. Do you all realize how hard it is to get into the position that she is in? So often there's misogyny and sexism running rampant in sports, and we don't even care what women have to say in sports. But Joy is not only in the position on television as a woman, as a Black woman, but as an opinionist. So not just asking men what they think, but providing her own unique and distinct insight. It's hard to do, and Joy, you have done it. So congratulations. Looking forward to working with you, and hope y'all tune in 4:30 to 6 Eastern every day starting next week. Just got
Yeah. That's why my man, they kind of clowning him because they're like, man, how you gonna be out here sleeping with you? You make it, she done slept her way to the top. Now you sleeping with her and you putting out videos like that. So yeah, man, that's what I'm saying, man. Like if you got relations, man, shut up. Y'all gotta be silent, stay away from certain things, man. Don't be going out here professing stuff for people. Like, because it's like, man, when everything blows up, everybody's gonna go and throw everybody else under the bus. Like I said, Skip was out there pillow talking. You know, when he overstepped some boundaries, he's pulling Charles Dixon into stuff. Faraji, Joyce, because telling her different elements and what's going on. So other people are talking, and this is why you just, man, when you go into a workplace, man, go do your job because, man, trust me, people are gossiping. People can't keep their mouth shut. Dudes that typically don't have like a lot of chicks, they start gossiping. They want to start bragging that they finally got the pretty girl in their life. So this is all what's happening and stuff. And it's like, man, once that one piece falls or somebody files something, it's like everybody's gonna be telling, especially if they like caught up and they're gonna get in trouble or something. They're gonna be like, well, so and so was doing way more than you know. So it's just like, man, you better off just going there, do your job, go home, and man, if you want to do some like freaky shit, man, go do that in your own personal life. But there was one more article. Let me pull that up because this was the craziest part where when I was like doing some of this research, man, it said like Joy had a whole plan, like if she like lost her job or if Charlie Dixon was no longer like of use to her, and this was in the lawsuits from what Faraji was actually stating, like man, she was gonna like me to him or throw him under the bus or say like he was doing sexual harassment to her, even though she was getting the benefit. So this is why, man, you can't lie to yourself. And I think that's what happens with a lot of guys when they start getting successful. It's like, that's why I said, Charlie Dixon, man, you a funny looking dude. You should have known, like, all right, man, she's there for the bread. I gotta be cautious. Like, but guys let their status and stuff go to their head and they start thinking like chicks actually like them and, they could get away with this type of stuff. But let me just read this segment real quick. It says court documents have revealed shocking details about Fox Sports host Joy Taylor's alleged use of sexual relationships with key figures in the sports media industry to advance her career. So it says a lawsuit filed in Los Angeles on behalf of hairstylist Notion Faraji includes explosive allegations against Taylor, ex-NFL star Emmanuel Acho, and Fox Sports executive Charlie Dixon. According to the lawsuit, Taylor, a 37-year-old broadcaster, allegedly plotted to manipulate her relationships with Dixon and Acho to further her professional ambitions. One of the more alarming accusations is that Taylor planned to fabricate a sexual misconduct allegation against Dixon once he was no longer beneficial to her career. The lawsuit cites a portion of the document stating, once Mr. Dixon was no longer useful to Taylor, she would follow through on her plan to tell the company that he forced himself on her. And man, this is why, like, when I be saying stuff to people, man, I always used to get in debates with dudes. They're like, oh no, man, you're dick police. And I'm like, man, trying to tell you guys, man, mess with females that like you, that will only invest in you. Don't lead with your money. These females, they know who to spot the desperate guys that, probably never were good, successful with women. They kind of know that you're desperate because females like Joy Taylor, man, them type, they know how to spot that desperation. And then, like I said, a lot of times guys, they keep lying to themselves and thinking that, oh man, no, I got the status now. They actually like me. It's just like, man, you set yourself up in the long run to get wiped out. So that's why it's just like, man, do your job, go home and leave this shit alone. But I did have this picture. This was Earl Watson. So this was the ex-NBA player. So like I said, this is what's crazy about Joy. It's just like, man, she had like successful guys that was around where she didn't even have to go down this path, couldn't like, still try to do the broadcast and stuff. But it's just like, if it didn't work out, it's like, hey man, I do got a good guy that I could align with, and maybe I'll do some other business ventures. But to go in there and then probably have a fabricated story and stuff, it just shows how like sinister some people are in their minds and stuff. And this is why you got to be careful, man. Just because somebody looks good, man, you better go and make sure they have the right mindset to match the looks. Because if they don't, man, you're gonna end up wiped out in the long run. So like Charlie Dixon and Skip, man, if they get divorces and their wives like go and take half, it's like now you're on record, doing infidelity and all these different acts where, man, they got the courts on their side now. So I just don't understand why people play with it. But I got one last clip I wanted to play because I thought this clip was funny because I saw it come out a long time ago, and this guy was going in, Crane and Company, and he was kind of going in on Joy Taylor about her talent or lack thereof and how she's getting these roles and speaking on football. So he was kind of going in on Joy. And I was like, damn, he kind of going in hard at the time. But now it's like, damn, he was kind of on to something. So let me play this clip before we roll out of here.
Joy Taylor, who every time I scratch my eyes is looking more like Jamel Hill. It's the only way people will listen to her because she doesn't really know anything about the game and never really has.
The next time a woman's up for a job, I don't want to hear about the experience that she needs to have it.
I'm using her thinking.
I love a good unqualified man hire. Ooh.
Love it. How does Joy Taylor have a job talking and grading football players and teams on a sport she never played? She never put a helmet on once. She doesn't understand how it really goes down. She doesn't know what she's looking at. How does she have a job talking about football?
An opportunity that is completely unqualified for.
She doesn't have that job if Jason Taylor's not her sister. Let's go. If Jason Taylor, a Hall of Famer, isn't her sister, nobody knows who Joy Taylor is. Nobody even knows who she is. I'm sorry. Joy Taylor.
And that's what I'm saying, because like she had the Hall of Fame brother, where it's just like, man, you didn't have to go down this route. You could have got on there, like, did a podcast with your brother, got that validity and maybe did a show, pitch some concepts. But for her to just like do what she did, that's what I'm saying. And also have like successful guys in her life. That's the crazy part. Like I could see a chick that was probably broke, did it have a leg in the industry or the networking that she kind of had takes that position, go in there and try to sleep your way to the top. But for her, that's where it's like, damn, you had a good structure. So that's what made it kind of crazy about it. But all right, y'all, man, guys, man, leave it alone at the job, man. Stop simping like a Skip out here and tricking and stuff, Skip and Charlie Dixon, and leave this stuff alone, man. It's a sad story. But yeah, we can watch it more. That I might have to do a follow-up on this. There's so much stuff that's coming out. And check out Jason Whitlock, man. He had a real good podcast. I was listening to that yesterday, man, where he was breaking down like his time when he was working there and how he was like, nah, I don't need no pretty girl on my show. Like if they don't have the knowledge, he's like, I don't need that whole format. So I think he was giving pushback, back in the day, like I'm good. Like give me somebody that knows it, and I don't want that. And I think it sounded like he was kind of bumping heads with some of the executives on that stuff. So, man, that's what I'm saying. A lot of people are starting to kind of verify, like, hey, man, a lot of this stuff was known in the in the Fox Sports environment. So they're kind of corroborating it themselves too. So that's what I'm saying. This thing about to get ugly. So Fox is definitely going to have to clean house, and they're going to kick out some money. And this is the sad thing about, employees don't have their shit together. And that's why I say, man, if you have any business partners or people that you work with that they always chasing women and women come first, man, remove them from your circle, because they're going to end up costing you money, man. They prioritize, like I said, vagina over everything else, over the money, and they're gonna try to fuck your shit up. So I had some situations I had to get rid of people where they just always put the females first, and I just cut ties with them, man. So this is a prime example of that. It's like, man, you doing business, do business, man. Don't mess with any of the females at your jobs. Stay respectful, handle your business, and go home and get you some females outside of where you make your money. Don't use your position of power to try to get chicks. It's like, man, if you a lame, you just stay a lame and get females outside of your workplace, man, because it never works out. We're just seeing too many situations play out. But all right, y'all, I rambled enough, man. Peace.